Whether it's cars, comics, video games, or violins, there's a little geek in all of us. It's time to give your geek a voice. It's time for Geek Therapy. Here's your host, Johnny Hamburger.
Sex! Sex! Did I get your attention, you animals? If you have a heart attack during sex, during an amorous relations, guess what? Only about a third of people who had a heart attack during sex got life-saving help from their partner. Which is funny to me. It's like, yeah, babe, I just spent all that time kissing you, but I ain't giving you CPR. You're supposed to pump to staying alive. Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk, that woman may no time to talk. You like that? That's my cover of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. All right, now that I got that dumb story out of the way to get your attention. Sex! Let's move on to actual real things. Let's move on to, not even going to make a joke about it. Not even going to go there. And for once, usually when I say, I'm not going to talk about it, I wind up talking about it for like 10 minutes. But I'm actually not going to make a joke about this. I'm just going to move on. EA, Electronic Arts, the video game publisher, has screwed the pooch big time. Big time with the release of Battlefront 2, and people are pissed. Let me just... It boggles my mind a little bit because we hear this cry over and over again. EA, or an insert publisher, we are never buying a game from you ever again because of you make us pay for more download content. The games aren't complete when you release them. We pre-order these games and they're broken when we buy them. We disagree with microtransactions, all the same thing. But then we see a trailer for, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, pre-order. I'll give you $60 months before the games ever come out. So anyways, Battlefront 2 has come out, and once again, it's the same story. I haven't heard much in the way of it being broken, per se, it being glitchy or anything like that, but the big beef with Battlefront 2, like in other games, is that they have microtransactions in the game, which means in the game, for instance, just to use an example, let's say you can buy an upgrade for your weapon that gives you an advantage over other players. What that does is creates an unfair advantage for people who might not necessarily be good at the game. It might create an unfair advantage for those types of people who just buy more powerful weapons, give them an advantage over people who maybe they just spent $60 and they can't afford to pay $5 here and there, $10 here and there, $2 here and there for virtual things in the game that give them a competitive edge. It's not fair. It's not fair. In video games, in competitive video games, the only way you should earn upgrades to your weapons and to your character or whatever is through playing the game, is by getting experience in the game and then receiving those upgrades as you get better at the game, as you put more time into the game. You should spend your $60 on the game or whatever once. And then your skill, your competitive edge comes only from getting better at the game, from playing the game. I don't play much of, what's the last EA game that I played? Was it a Call of Duty? And for those of you uninitiated, my view on Call of Duty is that Call of Duty has been the same game since Call of Duty 4, Advanced Warfare. It's been the same game. I'm sorry. Argue with me all you want. Call of Duty Black Ops, that did go back to some, warfare in Southeast Asia, but by and large, the mechanic of the game, everything about the game, if you've played if you've played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, you've basically played every Call of Duty to date, except for the newest Call of Duty, which goes back to World War II. And that's what I have wanted for years. They've been pushing out this modern warfare stuff. It's like, you know what? Graphics have gotten so good, 2016, 2017. It'd be really cool if EA made another Call of Duty game, but back in World War II. Make a new campaign for World War II. And they've done that. And I haven't got the game yet, but it looks amazing, and I'll probably get it. I haven't heard too many complaints about the new Call of Duty, other than I think I heard someone saying, well, it just kind of goes back to the old ways, it doesn't introduce many new weapons or anything like that. It's just kind of old. Yeah, that's what we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted the old glory days of Call of Duty, just in a modern release with modern visuals. That's basically all I wanted. I wanted better sound design, better graphics, and we got that, apparently, with the new Call of Duty. I could care less. What new weapon are you going to come up with for World War II? You got the M1 Garand, you have your tanks, you have your pistols, you have your Rugers and whatnot. Like, do you need to create a new weapon for a game that's supposed to be relatively historically accurate? No, I'm fine. I'm fine with the old rocket launchers. I'm fine with the grenades. I'm fine with the weapons that were available in World War II. So if your complaint is the new Call of Duty game doesn't give you more innovation, we didn't want innovation. We just wanted a good World War II game from the Call of Duty franchise, and we got that. But yeah, so EA really, like I said, really screwed the pooch releasing the game with these microtransactions, creating an unfair advantage for players who just simply want to buy skill. You can't buy skill. Let's say, in my case, I play lots of Rocket League, and now I really, 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 really need to get a Nintendo Switch because Rocket League just came out a few days ago for the Nintendo Switch. But let's say I just got into Rocket League, and instead of getting good at the game, which is the whole basis of Rocket League, is just playing and getting more experience and skill and, learning more nuance to the game to give you the competitive edge against your competition, just knowing the game. Let's say we can skip all that, and I just, through a microtransaction, I gave $10 to Psyonix, and they gave me this patch, this patch in the code of the game for me that said anytime I hit the ball, it goes right towards the goal. An aimbot, AIMBOT, aimbot. That says anytime the ball bounces off my car, it automatically beelines to the goal. That would be an unfair advantage. That game is purely physics based. How the ball hits off your car is where the ball is going to go, roughly, based on real world physics. So yes, that would be big time cheating for me just to spend $10 and get a patch for the game that makes the ball bounce off my car always towards the goal. It doesn't mean it's always going to go in the goal. It just means that it goes towards the goal. So yeah, that's not good. And that's basically what they did for Battlefront 2. Now, I mean, why can't players just do what they did in the old days and just hack the game? Wow, what was it called? And even in Call of Duty multiplayer online, I'm blanking out on the anti. You had to log into special servers or whatever. They had to verify your game to make sure you didn't have any hacks enabled in the game that gave you an unfair advantage against other players. What is it called? Oh, I'm blanking out. I know a lot of you are just yelling at your radio, yelling at the screen here on YouTube, saying it was called something. I forget what it was called, but it was basically a safety net to filter out any unauthorized patches in the game that would give you an illegal advantage in the game, a cheat, a hack. Now, you don't even got to do that anymore. EA just said, give us a couple bucks. We'll give you an advantage in the game. You don't have to hack. Don't use any smarts or brains to hack the code of the game. Just give us $5 and we'll make you good at the game instantly. You don't have to be good at the game. We're just gonna make, instead of shooting a guy with 3 bullets to kill him, make you just look at the guy and he's dead, or one bullet to kill. Remember the golden gun in GoldenEye 64? The golden gun? Stupid. I hated that freaking thing. If you came to my house to play GoldenEye 64 and you picked the golden gun, screw you. Screw you, Dan. Screw you, Michael. Everybody knew, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but everybody knew a kid in their class or in their school who was just the best at GoldenEye 64, and nobody stood a chance. Nobody stood a chance against Daniel, who's been on my show, Daniel SSSS. He was the best at GoldenEye, except for Michael B., who was just a god at GoldenEye 64. I hate, yeah, and if you got the golden gun in a GoldenEye 64 just means one bullet, one kill. You could get shot in the foot with the golden gun and you're dead. You have to respawn somewhere. And you know what sucks also? Is there was no random respawn points in GoldenEye. So the really good players would just know everywhere you were going to be to respawn, so you'd respawn and then get shot in the face again with a golden gun. Stupid, cheating, dumb. And they could run and they could strafe with perfectly pinpoint accuracy shooting you with the RP90 or whatever it is. Dumb. That's unfair. Actually, in that case, that's not unfair. That means that Michael and Dan spent a lot of time honing in the nuances of the game and the controls to keep you perfectly pinpointed in the crosshairs. Still stupid. It was still not fun to play GoldenEye or first-person shooters with those two. So I had to invent new ways to make the game fun. I still had fun playing multiplayer Call of Duty. Yeah. So anyways, to wrap up this segment, EA has recanted. They have gone back and they said, oh, where am I getting this from? This is from Ars Technica. It says, Electronic Arts and developer DICE announced that they are, quote, turning off all in-game purchases and all progression will be earned through gameplay. Hooray! Hooray! Now you get to play the game and your skill is based on how much experience you have in the game. What a novel thought. What a crazy novel thought. And guess what? The internet is just exploding with 2020 hindsight, I told you so, Captain Hindsight people saying, well, you vote with your wallet and you do this every time. Just don't buy the game and they'll stop making the games with these mechanics in it. But we still do it every time. We still do it every time. You say, I'm never buying a pre-order. I'm never pre-ordering a game ever again. I am never buying another Electronic Arts game because they have these microtransactions. And then you do. And then you do. You do. You buy the game every time. Oh, the new trailer looks great. I have to buy it. This time will be different. No. You know what that behavior is indicative of? An addict. An addict to a drug. And EA is cranking out the crank. More Geek Therapy Radio coming up. I'm Johnny Hamburger. Now comes the social media stuff. Sarah, go follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Go follow Geek Therapy Radio, or go like Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Go subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. And also Twitter. I posted one thing to Twitter this week. It's on Twitter, it's Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. So Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. So go follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Go like Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Go subscribe to Geek Therapy on YouTube. And go follow Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. That's too much social media. That's too much stuff. We'll be right back. I'm Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator for the evening. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio, where geeks are sexy.
Geeks are sexy, and you're listening to Geek Therapy Radio.
Let me just clear out my instrument. Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. I am Johnny Hamburger, your mental curating for this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whenever you're listening to Geek Therapy Radio. And if you're listening to Geek Therapy Radio at its allotted time, sometime during the night, on Sunday morning, technically. Technically, the show airs on KPRC 950 AM, 12:06 in the morning, Sunday morning. But I like to think of it as Saturday night. You're out there, you're partying, driving around, going to the next thing. Turn on Geek Therapy Radio at 12:06 a.m. on KPRC 950 in Houston and listen to the sexiness on the radio. Because guess what? Guess what? Geeks are sexy. And I'm not saying I'm sexy. Look at me. I got this neck beard going on. Go to YouTube, see that? I haven't even shaved for this. Ish. Geeks are sexy, but not me. You the geek. You the geek listening. You're the sexy one. I'm just here. I'm just along for the ride. You geeks are the sexy ones. What was I saying? Anyways, so real quickly, Google Fiber is coming to one city. Well, Google Fiber is in a bunch of cities now, but it's coming to San Antonio for whatever reason for $55 per month. Elsewhere, it costs $70. But guess what? I just signed up for AT&T Uverse. $70 for Google Fiber. It's an indescribably good deal. I'm paying like $100 for the most garbage internet I think you can possibly buy. No, I do not expect Sony Uverse to be a sponsor of this show. Unless they prove to me otherwise that their product is great. But I know Xfinity is the devil, supposedly. But for the same price with Xfinity, I was getting 3 or 4 times faster internet with Xfinity. And I was getting lower ping also. And Xfinity was at 1080p, I believe it was 1080p out of the TV box, the digital cable box. So Uverse is just basic. It's so basic, and it's 720p out of the box. You can do 1080i with AT&T Uverse. You probably have to pay more if you want to get 4K. I'm sure they have tiers for this thing. All I did was for the same amount of money that I was paying Xfinity at an old place, I set up AT&T at a new place for the same price because for some reason Xfinity said they could not install in this apartment. So I got Uverse in same amount of money for vastly, on the order of magnitudes, slower internet and higher ping. So I am not too thrilled about that, but it works. I mean, it gets you online, and like 10 years ago, would you be complaining about, 50 megabits up, 50, it's not even 50 down. What is it down? It's like 10 down. 50 up, 10 down. That's basic internet any way you slice it. 10 years ago, that would have been great. Nothing to complain about. Now, it's horrific. Horrible. My mom uses, what is it out there in Kingwood? Suddenlink? And she has like the unlimited plan. It's blazing internet. Blazing up and down. It's like 200 megabits up and down. It's a lot. And it's not that much more expensive than what I'm paying for Uverse. I didn't mean to crap all over AT&T Uverse. Did I call it Sony earlier? I didn't mean to crap all over AT&T Uverse just now because I really wanted to talk about, I was going to talk about Deadpool for a second. And I was going to, basically the segment's going to be about spoilers in the new environment of media that makes avoiding spoilers so difficult. The new Deadpool trailer came out, and I've never been huge into Deadpool, but I've always appreciated that kind of, I guess you'd call it slapstick, violent humor. I don't know. It doesn't. Whatever. The new Deadpool trailer came out, and it doesn't give anything away about the movie. It's just Deadpool imitating Bob Ross. And I went through the bulk of the trailer thinking, this is kind of dumb. Like, I understand that most people find this funny. I didn't think it was very funny until the end. For some reason, the line he said at the end just made me crack up. And I don't know why it did. I'm kind of ashamed of myself. What he says. But he goes, reminding you to keep your pants dry and your dreams wet. For some reason, that just... Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. So, spoilers. I we're going to talk about Stranger Things now and how difficult it is to watch a show, a cultural phenomenon like Stranger Things, how difficult it is to watch that show and avoid spoilers on the internet and on Facebook. It's horrible. It feels like you're trying to walk through a minefield. I told Sarah last week, I was like, we have to get through Stranger Things like quickly. Like we have to get through this quickly so that it's not spoiled by the internet at some point. There's already a little tiny little spoiler that I saw that I'll mention because it's not really a spoiler per se, but I saw a post on Facebook that one of my friends replied to. It was a post saying they wanted to take Stranger Things down. They wanted Netflix to pull Stranger Things because it promotes homophobia. Now, I haven't seen every episode of season 2 yet, but I think I know what they're talking about. I think I know the character that they're talking about. But basically, my actual homosexual friend is like, this is what it was in the 80s. Stop making stories out of things that are not stories. This is not, if you're fighting for the LGBT cause, this is not something to go after. This is stupid. They're just depicting a situation how it was in the 80s. In the 80s, homophobia was rampant. So stop. Why you're trying to pull Stranger Things off of Netflix, get it boycotted or whatever, because it's depicting stuff that really happened. It's not promoting homophobia at all. It's just depicting real situations that happened in the 80s. Lots of us are guilty of it. My goodness, I'm not going to pretend that I myself are going to play innocent to making gay jokes, especially back in the time when it was just nobody knew it was terrible. Now it's terrible. I'm not going to joke about someone's sexuality now. That's just progress. That's just being progressive in our sensitivities to the social climate. So asking for Stranger Things to be pulled off Netflix because it's depicting homophobia is stupid. That is a bullcrap article. And you know what that does? I'm going to get real for a second. I'm going to get really gritty here for a second. You know, it's a false flag. You know what that's sort of like? That is like a woman falsely accusing somebody of rape. False rape is a horrible thing. And let me tell you why it's a horrible thing. It's not helping anybody. In fact, what it is it delegitimizes actual cases of sexual assault. So, somebody coming out saying we should pull Stranger Things because it depicts homophobia. No, pardon my French. Screw you. No. That's dumb. Just like a woman trying to get revenge on a guy by, falsely saying that he raped her, and then the guy has to have his life ruined by going to prison for 20 years or whatever. That's a serious accusation. And if you make a false accusation like that, a woman who does that should go to prison for the amount of time that the man had to go to prison. Like bare minimum. Because she is doing a disservice to women everywhere, or other sexual assault victims, even men sexual assault victims. So be careful who you're fighting for. I saw on YouTube, be careful what you're fighting for. I saw on YouTube, of course, YouTube comments are just a cesspool. So take what I'm about to mention with a grain of salt. I was watching a Casey Neistat video, and I think his wife's name is Candace. In the video, his wife says, I was waiting here for 8 minutes. You said it was only going to be 90 seconds. It was kind of half jokey, like, whatever. So there was a comment on it saying, and it got like a few hundred upvotes or whatever. And the comment was, Candace, I can't believe it goes like this. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. Was Candace really upset about being held up for 8 minutes? That was basically what it said. Was Candace really upset about being held up for 8 minutes? So the direct reply to it was basically a militant feminist saying, you're just looking for another excuse to belittle and be misogynistic towards a female and, affirm your confirmation bias or whatever like that. And it's just like, what? This person, not even dude, this person, this random username never even brought up gender in the first place. Basically what he said was this person seriously concerned over waiting for 8 minutes? That's all he said. And so back to my point, that militant feminist bringing that point up. Oh, you're just looking for another excuse to belittle a woman and to confirm your confirmation bias or whatever the heck she said. That was not a good battle to pick. That was not a case of misogyny. That was not a case of belittling a woman at all. There was no belittling even towards a person. There was nothing belittling. So basically what this militant feminist did was give a terrible, terrible name to feminists everywhere. She cast shame on all feminists by picking a fight where there was no fight. So be careful about the fights you pick. You don't understand the ramifications of what comes from picking a stupid fight where there is no fight. You're basically making you and all you represent look bad. You're making legitimate feminists look terrible. So shame on you. And that's the unfortunate side effect that a lot of, in this case, militant feminists don't get, is that they pick the wrong battles. Or these militant social justice warriors, you want to call it, but they're not really, because they're misguided. The Stranger Things. Pull Stranger Things because it's depicting homophobia. That's the wrong battle to pick. That's the wrong battle. You are picking the wrong battle, and you're making your whole cause look bad. You're making a legitimate cause look terrible. Shame on you. Pick your battles. Have a little bit more wisdom. So spoilers. I gotta finish Stranger Things before spoilers on the internet ruin it. I use the homophobia case because that could have been a little spoiler, because I was suspecting a character in the show might be affected by homophobia, let's just say, so that I'm not spoiling it for anybody else, because I'm still not sure. I haven't seen the episode yet. There might be a character who's affected by homophobia. And that was dangerously close to a spoiler. Dangerously close. So everybody listening, everybody watching this YouTube right now, please don't spoil Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things because it's so freaking 80s. I love the music of Stranger Things. I love the sets of Stranger Things. I love all the vehicles they use because they got it spot freaking on to the early 80s, and I love that. It makes me think of Nintendo and Atari and Michael Jackson when he was black, and all sorts of nice things from the 80s that I fondly remember. Skateboards with only one lip. I love Stranger Things. So please, internet, please, YouTube, do not ruin it for me. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio. I will not get so testy with the subjects. I've gotten so... I try not to get political or anything like that on the show, but I got pretty testy here in this segment because it's true. Pick your battle so you don't make your entire cause look terrible and ruin it for people who are legitimate fighters for the cause. Stop being stupid and picking stupid battles. More Geek Therapy Radio to come. That was therapeutic. I don't know if it was geek therapeutic, but it was therapeutic. I'm Johnny Hamburger. More Geek Therapy Radio to come. Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube, Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. I am encroaching. I am coming up on 100 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm coming up to 100 likes on the Geek Therapy Radio Facebook page. And that's my benchmark. Let's get it to 100 subscriptions on YouTube. Let's get it to 100 likes on the Facebook page. Because after you hit these milestones where things can start to snowball, 100 is one of them. 100 is a little bit more legitimacy. So the next goal would be 1,000. So go like Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Please, I love you. go follow Geek Therapy Radio or subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. I love you. And go follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram and Twitter, Geek Therapy KPRC. I'm Johnny Hamburger. And we'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio. That was stupid. I'll never make this voice again.
You're listening to Geek Therapy Radio.
Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. I am Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator for this evening, this afternoon, or this morning, whenever you're listening to Geek Therapy Radio. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe. If you're listening on the radio, old school, thank you. This show sounds best on the radio. That is where geeking out is at its sexiest, and I almost threw the whole radio station off the air right now. I smacked this keyboard over here and accidentally did some stuff. Anyways, so Geek Therapy Radio Instagram, Geek Therapy Radio Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio YouTube, Geek Therapy KPRC, changing it up on Twitter. Is anybody out there? For some reason, I have that song stuck in my head. Anybody in there? Out there? Whatever. Is that a Pink Floyd? I'm blanking out. It's late. Anyways, we've discovered we've discovered many potentially habitable exoplanets, but one we've discovered about 12 light years from Earth. So pretty close. A stone's throw from the Earth. Anyways, we aimed some satellite dishes at it, and now we're blasting out some musical messages that we're beaming directly towards that exoplanet. Mind you, I should have said, it's potentially habitable, which means that if there's any life on it, playing something musical to them might be like, well, this isn't just a random radio wave. But you know why this is also kind of dumb? Because, and I just realized this, it's kind of dumb because perhaps focusing a satellite on it, multiple satellite dishes on it to send a direct beam to the planet of something musical might have a better shot than what has been happening over the past 100 years with radio waves. And that's what I was saying. It's kind of dumb because the Earth has been sending speech and music out through radio antennas and TV antennas for the past 100 years. So, did we need to focus radio waves at that planet? I guess, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. And you know what? It's not stupid, actually. I take that back, because if they are able to triangulate, even though to triangulate you need two or more points. Okay, anyways, if they were able to see that this focused beam was coming from this star, our sun, they'd be like, okay, definitely look there. Definitely look there. That is definitely a focused beam coming from that solar system versus the willy-nilly radio waves we've been sending out into space over the past 100 years that are kind of weak and might be kind of hard to pinpoint. Maybe focusing beams on the planet. So maybe theoretically 24 years from now, since the planet is 12 light years. Yeah, 12 light years away, and radio waves travel at the speed of light. So it will take 12 years for that radio signal, that musical signal, to get to that planet. And then if they're able to quickly figure out where it came from and aim a communication right back at us, it means that mark your calendars, set your watches, set your alarms for 24 years from now, because we might get a signal back from that exoplanet. And I really didn't want to spend that much time on the story, but it's interesting. And that's what our geek brains do. We get to deep dive into these subjects and follow this rabbit hole. So anyways, next quick thing. I'm talking about Nintendo in this segment. Another Mario movie. But real quickly, you remember that Amazon Key that I talked about a few weeks ago here on Geek Therapy? Amazon Key basically is a service that Amazon wants you to trust them even more. They want you to trust not just to bring their ears into your home with Amazon's Echo and Alexa. Amazon now wants to physically come into your home. Human beings come into your home with packages from their website, from Amazon. So Amazon Key allows a package delivery person to open your door and leave packages inside your house. That sounds super convenient because we've all seen and heard many, many cases of packages being stolen off of customers' doorsteps. It's a super shady, stupid thing. And if you're listening right now and you steal packages, shame on you. You are scum of society. Please change. Become a geek about something. Don't geek out about theft. Geek out about astronomy or something like that. Come join us. What's your geek thing? Stop doing stupid stuff. You are capable of changing your life, so just do it. Just do it. Flip the switch. I know it's not as easy as, easier said than done, but stop stealing stuff. Contribute to society. Don't steal from it. Anyways, Amazon Key. Lo and behold, there's a flaw in the system that could allow people to enter your house undetected. Basically, Amazon Key one of the things it relies on is a camera to see, perhaps by facial recognition, like the delivery driver who's supposed to deliver your package. But there's an exploit that can be exploited, where they turn off that camera and basically shut that part of the failsafe down so that anyone can just walk in your home. And it's not surprising, and it was my number one concern when they announced Amazon Key. Now you are attaching your door lock to the internet. The last line of defense in your home is your deadbolt. And now you're hooking that up to the internet and just trusting that none of the billions of people on the internet are going to hack your deadbolt and come into your house and do God knows what. Hopefully it's just to steal something. So now Amazon is asking you to hook your deadbolt up, hook your locks up to the internet. What could go wrong? So would I get Amazon Key? No. Would I recommend any of my friends or family get Amazon Key? Nope. No. And I know Amazon Key isn't the first Wi-Fi. Well, are there any other Wi-Fi enabled door locks? I think so. There must be any sort of deadbolt, physical something that keeps an intruder from your home. Hooking that up to the internet, to the cloud, to the internet is a bad idea. I know for sure they do make Bluetooth deadbolts so that when you're close with your phone or close with your smartwatch, you can unlock your house, unlock that physical deadbolt with Bluetooth wirelessly from your device. That's already super shady. That is so shady. I don't want that. I don't want any part of it. Having a camera aimed at your front door so that you can see who's coming to your door, that's good. That's good for security. Police can use that. You can use that. You can monitor your kids with that. That's good. That's good. But having the actual deadbolt physically attached to the internet, not physically, wirelessly attached to the internet, wirelessly tethered with YouTube to your phone, dumb. Don't do that. Oh man, we're already at 8 minutes. I wonder if I should keep the Mario movie for the next segment. I think I will. I think this third segment of Geek Therapy Radio is just going to be these couple stories. I'm going to leave the Mario movie to the next segment. And I'm going to go ahead and bail from this segment. You're listening to Geek Therapy Radio. We have one more segment coming up. I'm going to talk about the new Mario movie that might be in the making. I'm going to reserve my thoughts on that to the next segment. But remember, Geek Therapy Radio, Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio, Instagram, Geek Therapy KPRC, Twitter, and Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. I'm almost at 100 subscribers now. So please go subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. I will love you forever for it. It's a fun show. I want to do more like vlogs and things. I can't just be uploading the show to the YouTube. I'm going to put more interesting things. I've got a review of my DeLorean, my 1983 DMC-12 up on my YouTube channel, and that is just, it gets hundreds more viewers every single day. Whereas my radio show right now, since it's fairly new in the grand scheme of things, isn't really pulling that many viewers. So I need to do more like actual special feature stuff for the channel. Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube. Go watch that DeLorean video. It's fine. I think I've made 71 cents off of it. I think I made a little more than that off of it, but not that much. I think I can go to Whataburger with the amount of money I made off of that video. All I had to do was buy a drone for it and a camera and a DeLorean. And I've already recovered about $10 from that. Whoop! Solid investment. We'll be right back. More Geek Therapy Radio. I'm Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator. And stick around just a few minutes. We're going to talk about this new Mario movie in the next segment. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Get down.
You are listening to Geek Therapy Radio. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the final segment of Geek Therapy Radio. I am Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator for this evening. And hope if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for visiting. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have more special features. Like I just mentioned in the last segment, I'm going to do more like cool videos, not just videos of the radio show, even though the radio show is super duper cool. Do more special features, probably with a DeLorean and other vlog style things. But anyways, I said we're going to talk about, well, let me just give you this report from Ars Technica. It's not just from Ars Technica, it's from many sources, but what I'm looking at right in front of me right now. Ars Technica says that a report suggests Nintendo is close to a deal for a new Mario movie. Let me just react for a second. We did a Mario movie in the 90s, and it sucked. It was horrible nightmare fuel. Horrible nightmare fuel. John Leguizamo and God knows who else was in that movie. I have nothing against John Leguizamo. Remember Spawn? Do you remember Spawn from the 90s? That was before all these superhero movies, as we know it, were getting popular. Spawn basically set the stage for like nitty-gritty superhero movies. Yes, there was Batman and stuff like that, but Spawn, that was rated R. There was blood and guts and gore, and it kind of paved the way for just a new way of making superhero movies. Spawn was awesome, and John Leguizamo was Spawn, and he did an awesome job in it. Anyways, but he was also Luigi in the first Mario movie. So, Nintendo, again, 25 years later, is dancing around the idea of making a Mario movie. And if they do this, they're going to use the same studio that made Despicable Me and Minions. So it'd be an animated Mario movie. Would I see it? I don't know. I need to see a trailer. I think just for the sake of this show, I would have to do that. I think I should probably do movie reviews at some point. Somebody told me that a while back, but I'm not really a huge geek about movies. I rarely see movies. In fact, I would say like the most movies I've ever seen in a short amount of time was after I got divorced, and just basically when you're not married. Right after you're not married, you got nothing to do, and it's very lonely and sad. So I would go to movies. I saw that Brad Pitt World War II spy movie, and I saw, Logan was awesome though. Logan was amazing. Logan is one of my favorite movies of all time. Anyways, I saw a handful of movies in, about the year after I got divorced. And, I had my thoughts on it, and people around the station were saying, man, you know what? You should do a movie review segment for KPRC or KTRH or whatever. I was like, well, I don't know. I'd feel kind of kind of fake about it because I'm not really a huge movie nerd, and I'm way too analytical of movies. Way too analytical, which I guess does make me a geek about movies. Movies, I have such a love-hate, usually hate, with movies because it's expensive. Not that I'm a cheapskate or anything, but when you're paying $14 or whatever, just make the movie good enough for me to sit through, for the love of God. And usually they're not. Usually they're terrible. If a movie scores 51% in my book, then it's worth it. If I don't want my money back at the end, it's worth it. So this new Mario movie, if it stays true, and Miyamoto, I believe, is going to be on as a producer. Yeah, Miyamoto is going to be on as a producer for this movie. I don't think he was for the one 25 years ago, which was just a mess. Just a mess of a movie. Horrible movie. But if the Despicable Me studio does the movie, it's probably going to be pretty good. Now, ask yourself, gamer geeks, Mario's voice is cute and all. It's me, Mario. Do you want to listen to that for an hour and a half? I don't know. They're going to have to voice it in a way that's not horrible. I love Mario, and I love Mario's voice like in the game when it's just quick. Yeah, yahoo! I like that stuff. That's fine in little bursts of Mario voice. But could you imagine him talking like that for the whole movie? Or like Mickey, what the hell was that? Mickey Mouse or something. But you could just imagine his voice for an hour and a half. They're going to have to get that right. They're going to have to make Mario's voice tolerable. Let's just be real frank with it. Like, that's going to, I don't know. We'll see. I want to see the trailer, and then like I said before, I'll probably see the movie just for the sake of Geek Therapy Radio, so I can just be knowledgeable of it and know how to slam it. Might watch the movie. It might be great. It might be awesome. Despicable Me wasn't too bad. I haven't seen Minions or anything like that. Up was great. I think Up was Pixar. It's a separate studio. Anyways, I think that's it for Geek Therapy Radio this week. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to pimp it again. Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Like the page. I'm close to 100 likes. Please send me over this week. I think I am going to go over this week. I'm pretty sure on Facebook I'm going to go over 100 likes. On YouTube, right now, as of recording, I'm at like 95 subscriptions, 95 subs. So I just need a handful more. Put me over 100 subs on YouTube. That'd be great. Be a milestone. Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. I don't know how many followers I have on Instagram, but follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. And I love you. Happy Thanksgiving, my geeks. Think of something in your life that you're thankful for. I'm thankful for being a geek. I'm thankful for you geeks. I'm thankful for all of you each week joining me. Please love yourself. Be thankful that you have your health. Be thankful that you're still kicking. Be thankful that you're a geek. And be thankful that geeks are sexy. I love all of you. See you next week on Geek Therapy Radio. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.